Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And again, as I said earlier, enjoying this gorgeous weather. I'm Jana May. I'm with a realtor with the Exit Magic City, and I welcome to Business Unusual. I've invited Stacey and Ben Chambliss to their home inspectors with Good Sense Home Inspections to talk about the importance of having a home inspection. And this is for both sellers and buyers. So without further ado, let's welcome Ben Chambliss and Stacey Reed. Computer issues today.
Good afternoon, Jana.
Hello. There we go. There we go. Let me see. I like this format. We all like, yes. So, Ben, Stacey, tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Go ahead, Stacey.
I have a background in the corporate world, many years there, and training, and through my own personal experience in buying and selling homes, fell in love with the process, fell in love with real estate. I've always loved homes anyway, kind of a hobby. And as I was a buyer and going through the home inspection process, that was something that really got my attention. I'm a natural detective type, and so that was right at my alley. So I became a real estate agent first, and then a home inspector.
All right, Ben, tell us about
Yeah, basically for myself, I've been in engineering for a number of years and had been teaching classes at UAB and was approached to assist with teaching a home inspection class. And I told them, I said, I had no idea what a home inspection was. So I basically got into it the opposite direction. I started assisting with teaching particulars of home inspections, and then I decided to go ahead and become a home inspector myself. I also have taught classes at Sanford Architectural Design. So yeah, a lot of background on that side, but really enjoyed working with people. And what really attracted me to it was the flexible schedule. It allowed me to block off some time to spend time with my kids, take trips, coach at the ballpark. And so it seemed like a great opportunity. I never expected I would be doing it 17 years, though. I really enjoyed doing home inspections, and I can't think of doing anything else now.
Awesome. Well, as I have mentioned in the home buyers seminar, Alabama is a caveat emptor state. Do y'all know how many states are caveat emptor?
I believe we're the only one.
Okay, there's like one or two, and what caveat emptor means is buyer beware, and the onus is on the buyer to locate defects. Ben and Stacey can expound on that further, but so y'all, what is a home inspection?
Okay, Stacey, you want that one, or you want me to take it?
You go ahead. Take the lead.
Well, take the lead. Well, basically, a home inspection, it's a visual inspection. Alabama is defined as, by standards of practice, it is a visual inspection. We go through the home, we can test appliances, we can test systems, we can view structural items. We cannot disassemble things and check them out. We can remove an electrical panel cover, we can remove a couple of covers, but that's the extent of what we can actually do. A lot of people misunderstand that we can go in and disassemble things or take a sledgehammer, open up the wall, take a look, see what's behind it, because they see some of these home shows on the HGTV. And that's after somebody already owns the home that you can do something like that. So basically, we're there to make sure that the issues that the home has, the buyer is aware of. That doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means, it doesn't mean don't buy it or anything. It's just, okay, I just need to be aware of what I'm getting into. Are these things I'm okay with, or are these things that need to be repaired? And I will say many times the seller is unaware of many of these issues. So it's not that they're necessarily trying to hide something. They're just, I was unaware that I had that problem.
And I highly recommend my sellers to get a pre-listing home inspection. Just so there's no panic in the middle of a transaction,
Right.
and like
One
it
of the
could be
advantages,
something simple. You need to replace. I always want boots on the roof, and it comes out on the inspection. The buyers panic, and they want a whole new roof. So it could save money and be beneficial to sellers down the road. So I'm sorry, you were going to say something. I
well,
interrupted.
that's exactly it. It allows the seller to be fully aware of what they are going to be facing when they have a buyer's inspection. It allows them to address these items, disclose them, or repair them. It also allows them, like in our case, when we do a pre-listing inspection, we'll put out a sign that says this home has been pre-inspected and it's a good sense home. Well, many times, there we go. People look at this house and the one down the street. Well, these people had their home pre-inspected. That gives them a much better feeling right off the bat about the house that they're looking at.
Absolutely. I like that. I do like that. Yeah, I've learned more about home inspections and the way, well, pre-listing home inspections recently since I've been, COVID-19, we've got time for training. So yes, I'm really from now on going to ask sellers to do that. About how much is a pre-listing home inspection? Is it the same?
It's basically about the same as a listing, a buyer's inspection.
Okay.
The report is very similar. The difference is we will make recommendations on which items to disclose versus repair and things of that nature. We're not telling them which to do, just a recommendation.
What do sellers need to disclose in a caveat emptor state?
What do they need? Well, actually, they should disclose anything that they're aware of, because let's say that's what they should be doing. Many of them don't. I really can't get into what all they should. I think they should do all of them myself, but I look at it from a different perspective. What they
Yeah.
should never do, though, is hide something from someone. And that, if an inspector comes in, me or any of my, brethren out there will come out there to do an inspection. If you hide something, that draws a very big red flag to anyone that comes in the home. And the best example, I was taking another inspector, a trainee inspector, out to a house in Pelham. The car was parked in the garage underneath where the pull down ladder would be. So we could not access the attic. Well, that's a big red flag. Okay, they knew we were coming for the inspection. Why was the car there? Unfortunately, his daughter came home from school. We asked her if she'd move the car. She said yes. So we were able to get into the attic and found a recent fire damage in the attic. Unfortunately, I'm afraid she may have gotten in trouble for that. But this is where they should never try to hide this, because if we had not have gotten into the attic, we'd have written it up that it appears that there's a reason why they did not want us to go into the attic.
Oh.
And we'd see that kind of stuff on a regular basis. Plywood pushed up against a wall somewhere in the garage or basement, and it's covering a hole or water damage or something like this. So.
Yes. How do you feel about the sellers being there when you do a home inspection for the buyers?
Stacey, how do you feel about
It it's better if the sellers are not present at the home inspection. Buyers, of course, are encouraged, and it depends. If we're doing a pre-list inspection, that's fine. Of course, right now with COVID-19 and the particular guidelines we're having to follow, as far as who shows up when, it's a little bit different. But typically, pre-list, the seller has purchased this, that's fine. Buyer's inspection, it's best to let us do our job and the seller, go away for a little bit and do something else, and let us do what we need to do for the buyer and give them time, the buyer, to look around, ask questions, make sure they feel good about it and that they understand, even how the different components of the home, how things work. That's what we're there to do. And we don't want too many people at the same time, particularly if we're doing a buyer's inspection. That's their time to evaluate properly and determine what they need.
Thank you. Thank you. So I've got this awesome document, and if y'all would like Ben or Stacey to email it to you, how can they get in touch with you?
They can call,
Ben,
they can call, text, or shoot an email to us, or message on, Facebook Messenger. Any one of those ways, and just say, I would like to get a copy of the home inspection materials from this presentation, and I'll send both copies to them.
Because this is awesome. The reason why I mentioned that is I'm going to ask you the questions you've gotten here. Why do I need a home inspection? You may have touched on that, but I'll let you.
Well, Stacey, you want me to cover that one, or you want to take it?
I'll take it because we were just sort of on that topic. From a buyer's perspective, this is their opportunity to learn things about the home, make sure they're making the right purchase for them. They're aware of anything with the home, and that's really the main purpose. And it really needs to be done by a professional home inspector.
Exactly.
Not, I mean, even if that person has a great knowledge through their work or their uncle or neighbor, it's really best to have a professional do it, an unbiased professional come in and evaluate. Same for pre-listing inspection for sellers as well. Seller may know everything about the home or think they do, but an inspector is wearing a different hat, and they're not emotionally attached to that property or that home. So it's best to have it independent. And we touched on why pre-listing inspections are so important. It's a perspective from someone from the outside that is a professional that knows what to look for, to have a chance to make sure the seller is aware of what's there or what may be missing, and let's get ahead of it. Before we get the listing on the market, let's get way ahead of it and see what we need to address or what we can leave alone.
Right.
Yeah, and the one thing is we keep an emotional detachment, and that's and Stacey mentioned that, but it has to be stressed. We are a third party. We don't have an agenda, and I hate to put it this way. I don't care if you buy the house or not. That's the way I have to look at it. And we're actually we're looking at this right down the middle with blinders. We're not trying to play favorites to either side. We're simply saying this is the condition it is. There you go. Now you know what you're looking at.
Exactly. You've already touched on it. The question is, can't I do the inspection myself? Highly recommended not. What if you are an engineer, structural engineer, and you're buying a house?
I would say a structural engineer is the worst person in the world to come out there and try to do a home inspection. And this is from somebody that has worked with these guys for years and years and decades. That's the last guy in the world you want out there. It's the old joke of the last person you want to wire your house is an electrical engineer, because guess what? He knows nothing about residential wiring. That's not what they do. So a structural engineer or any other professional engineer would come in there with a very focused view from their perspective only, what the type. So a mechanical engineer would look at it one way, an electrical engineer would look at another. Yeah, engineers, even contractors that would have like a HVAC, you're going to get an electrical contractor come out here and take a look at your home. Well, what is he going to know about the HVAC system? So as an inspector, we come out there as a generalist. We're looking for things that might be to the point, not working properly to the point that we need to call in one of these specialists for that particular area. But we don't bring in one guy to do the HVAC and also do the electrical and also do the brick repair or something like this. Everybody has a specialty.
Exactly.
Okay.
You just know who to pull in and who should be inspecting it. Can a house fail a home inspection?
No, it cannot fail. It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, this is condition that it's in. It cannot fail. It cannot pass either. It can't pass. It can't fail. So this is not your college 101 class.
So it's just a report. Sorry, Stacey, go ahead.
I was just going to, just expand on that. Right, it's just a report of the condition of the home at this point in time. It's not an appraisal. It's not a market value evaluation. It's even if there are a lot of issues with the home, there's really no failure. It's just a reporting of what those issues are or what potential issues might be there. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you. How do we find a home inspector?
Ben, go ahead.
Okay. Well, there's several ways to find your home inspector. You can do a search through the national organizations and see who the local inspectors are for those national organizations. You can,
like the Birmingham Association of Realtors, those organizations, or what kind of organization?
We're talking about the American Association of Home Inspectors and National Association of Home Inspectors. So there's NACHI, there's ASHI, and several others that you could say who are members of those in this area. You can also ask your friends, hey, who did your home inspection? Did you like them or not? You can also get your realtor to provide a list possibly of home inspectors that have been used in your office. The most important part of it is not just finding a number to call, but making sure the home inspector that you're wanting to use, you can have a rapport with and talk to. If you can't understand and relate to them in a conversation over the phone, then you're going to have even more trouble with them when you're talking the technical terms of your home inspection.
Exactly. And I mean, just like hiring a realtor, you need to be able to relate to any service provider. And that's for home inspector as well. When do I call a home inspector?
I would call a home inspector as soon as you're looking for homes or when you put your contract on a home. You want to call them immediately after placing your contract. If you know that you're going to be looking at homes that have a short window, then I would advise you contacting your home inspector and lining up your inspector pre-offer on the home so that they already have a heads up and you do. I'm going to have only like 3 days to do this inspection. Let's go ahead and set something up. If I get the offer, great. If they don't take my offer, then I'll work with people on that. I understand the short window that you have on some homes. I've done many where we do the inspection that morning when it goes live, and by 9 o'clock that night they have a contract on the house. So we've done home inspections where the report was actually still a written one, but still verbal. I'm on the phone with some of these people, FaceTiming while I'm doing the inspection. So this is what you need to be aware of as you're making your offer. That's how fast some of them have to turn around.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you, because I never thought of that.
Yeah, I would also add to that, there are some cases, and I know I've been a part of a couple of these, at least a couple, where you're in a high competitive situation, highly competitive, or a bidding situation.
Yeah.
And the inspector will be called in pre-offer so that the buyer can properly structure their bid accordingly,
Awesome.
based on what might need, they would need to consider in their offer price. Another situation that we want to touch on at some point in here is new construction and doing phased inspections potentially. during the construction phase. Ben can elaborate on that when it's time, but that's another critical time too, before the home is finished, or just as it's, as different parts of the home are constructed. It's important to have someone keep an eye on that.
See, I never think of that unless it's a model home. Sorry, I get Satan comes through my computer sometimes. Unless it's a model home, if it's new construction, I think, well, there's that 210 home warranty and all that. What's the point? Save the money. I don't tell my buyers that. That's what I'm thinking. They want a home inspection. Yes. So can you tell me more about that?
Well, one of the
Yeah.
advantages of having the new home inspection is you've addressed the issues before you even move into the home. That's the typical new home inspection. If you're doing the phase inspections that Stacey was referring to, you're again addressing the issues before they've ever become a problem as they've gone through. Most of the home inspections I've done of that nature have been for builders. I've done about 1,500 for builders in town where they use me to do those inspections in lieu of their project managers on site. Maybe they don't have to have a project manager to do that. So I'm doing the phase inspection at the concrete pour for the foundation, pre-drywall. So I'm checking the installation and the framing, and then we're doing a final inspection. That'd be a typical 3. And that eliminates a lot of issues up front, and we're addressing those as they go. And they're very valuable if you're having your home built by someone. Sometimes we'll even do more than a 3-phase inspection during that. But like I said, I've done about 1,500 of those so far, and I've worked with several builders doing that over the past 15 years.
Stacey, thank you for bringing that new construction up, because I hadn't heard that before. And I have heard horror stories where, once it's complete and they do the final walkthrough, doors aren't the right size, or, there are concerns. And so I think it's very smart to have the phase home inspections as you go as a buyer.
Right. It's a different set of problems on new construction because many times there are installation issues. And I'm going to say the contractors do a good job, except I kind of call it a Friday afternoon syndrome. We started installing this device, air conditioner, water heater, whatever, on Friday, didn't finish it, and never got back to complete it on Monday. So many times things like drain lines are missing and things of that nature. Things that would not be a problem until when they become a problem, they become a really big problem then. Difficult to go back and retrofit later.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions so far? We're probably just answering them all right now. Do I have to be there at the inspection?
We encourage you to be there at the inspection. Stacey, why don't you address that?
Sure. We absolutely encourage it so that you have an opportunity as a buyer to ask questions, to learn about components, to actually look at, various issues firsthand and have someone walk you through it. So it's a great opportunity. The buyer does not have to be there. And certainly right now with COVID-19 and sort of different procedures that we follow, we can do video walkthroughs live if someone can't be there. And there are instances where buyers just cannot make it, or they only have a limited amount of time, and maybe they can swing by and pay, but they can't spend a lot of time there. But we do encourage it in some form. If not in person, we can do it virtually as well.
Thank you. What if the report reveals problems? I could probably answer this, but I'm going to let the experts answer it.
Go ahead, Stacey.
Well, there's no reason to panic. Or and I've experienced this myself, just the personal experience, where the report might look a little scary. Again, you have to keep everything in context. Read the report fully. I think Ben would agree. When the report is provided, we take a lot of time to make sure it's thorough, make sure everything's properly documented. So buyers do need, and sellers and pre-listing, read that inspection report fully. Ask any questions, and then make sure the agent you're working with, go through that with them, and then determine what are the most important things. What are the must-haves? What are there any health or safety issues that have to be addressed? What's most critical? Or maybe what's a bigger deal? What's priority here? And start with those items, and work with your agent to work with the other side to determine what we need to do. Ben, did you want to add anything to that?
No, that was very thorough. Very thorough. No, that's good.
Yeah, that monster in my computer is really trying to come out, isn't it? If the house proves to be in good condition, did I really need an inspection?
Well, of course you did, because you wanted to know it was in that condition. You now have a peace of mind that, yes, I have it inspected. It is as good as I hoped it would be. Well, that's really good news. That's what you wanted to find out. Just as she was saying before, if you do have an issue, keep it in perspective to the house, and I refer to it as totality. If you have an air conditioner that's not working on a $50,000 house, that's a big issue. If it's one of 4 air conditioners on a $1 million house, well, it's a little different perspective on it. So same thing when you don't have an issue.
Right. Stacey touched on it a little bit, but what changes have y'all had to make with COVID-19?
Well, I'll start. Obviously, safety precautions for the safety of us, the homeowner, and if we're doing a buyer inspection for the buyer that may be joining us. So things like making sure the home is sanitized, making sure no one in the home has been sick, making sure our buyer has not been sick, gloves, sanitizing, masks where appropriate distance apart, even though we're sometimes in close quarters. And Ben and I do that as well. If we're doing them together, we'll separate and keep that separation. Ben, anything else specific?
Well, like on this morning, we opened the door to the home, let fresh air through, which makes it easier to test the heat and the AC, of course. But we're just very careful about what we do. The simple version is we act like we're sick, and that protects everybody else around us, because we act like we have something that we don't want to spread. And I keep an extra tub in the vehicle now of sanitizing equipment, Lysol sprays and stuff like this. So we're being very cautious. I think everything within reason we're trying to do to make sure that we don't spread anything or pick up anything. And as part of the new email process, when I send a confirmation letter out now, I also send a separate email reminding them of the COVID-19 procedures. And if the sellers would please abide by those also, and we'll do that and have that same courtesy while we're guests in their home.
Awesome. What about buyers when they come, or are you doing it virtual now, or both?
We're doing both according to what the buyer's needs or issues are with the home. Sometimes they just really want to be there. In many cases, we will allow them to do the interior while we're doing something else so that they can move around. We'll leave all the lights on and the doors open so they don't have to touch any more than necessary while they're in the home. And we also have hand wipes and hand sanitizer available for them to use also. But I understand that some people need to be there, or that might be some cases. We had one buyer that was their first time to be at the home that they were buying. So We work with them in
Yeah.
any way possible, but the video clips that we do in the report and the video walkthrough are very effective, and some people have said they actually preferred that.
And one
Okay.
thing,
Go
one thing
ahead.
I'll add to that we do ask buyers is, I know Ben goes over this at the time of the appointment and the agreement. Don't bring your whole family necessarily. Try to limit who you bring with you. Your spouse or the decision makers, of course, be there. But let's not bring our cousin or all of the children and
Parents and in-laws.
possibly. Let's just limit the number of people right now. Even if that's your first, the first glance that other people may have at the house, let's limit it. And we also wash our hands a lot.
Yeah.
So,
The whole world's doing that now.
right.
So, Megan says great precautions. Lori says good point. Pardon me. I was going to ask you something else. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Stacey, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
No, I don't think so. I would say the majority of the ones that we've done, someone has been present. The buyer has been present, but everyone has been really, willing to follow the protocols. They're gracious about it. Everybody's being patient, and that's very much appreciated. Very courteous and following with what we advise. That's helpful for everybody.
Yes. Yeah, I think there's a lot of precaution and politeness right now. Thank God. The question I was going to ask was, how's COVID-19 affected your business? Or has it?
I don't know how much it really has. No more so than in general with the real estate market. We might be off a little bit maybe, but what I have noticed, and again, it may be the same for everyone else, most of the houses we're doing now are vacant homes for whatever reason. The one this morning was not vacant. It was an occupied home, but it just seems like we're doing more vacant homes than I remember us doing a few months ago.
I have a vacant home on the 13th Fairway at Ballantrae. So
there we go.
Yeah, it's waiting for its new family. So anyway, I had to put in a plug there. I had to throw in that plug. Thank you guys so much. If anybody has any questions, what's a good email for you?
Actually, we just you can email me or Stacey, which I guess you'll have that, or do you want me to give the email addresses now?
Or a phone number that people can call.
Phone number, just call us 205-682-1070. One of us will answer the phone and we'll schedule your appointment. I still like to do it the old-fashioned way. Don't log in someplace and schedule something. I want to talk to them. I want to make sure we understand what they need. I want to make sure that they have their questions answered. That's just the old school in me. I want to talk to somebody and make sure that we've got everything addressed before we ever get to the site. So 205-682-1070. That's the same number I've had for 17 years now. So.
Wow. That's brilliant. Well, thank you both for coming on Business Unusual. And I hope y'all don't have any more appointments and you can get out there and enjoy this weather. I'm off to show a house, virtual showing. So thank you. And everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and if you can, stay home. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having us on this afternoon, Jana. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Y'all are a pleasure. Y'all can come on anytime. Y'all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.